I want to ask you, what's your take on this thing that's going on in Missouri? Like, I mean, the press is all over it. It's unbelievable that it's very similar to what happened last summer here in Toronto with a young man who was on a bus and unarmed. He had a penknife or a knife that he couldn't even peel an apple with, and a police officer unloaded his clip onto him, and there's huge coverage as far as the evidence was compelling, because it was caught on a bunch of camera phones. Was this caught? I haven't followed in the detail. I've seen it, what's going on social media, but has this been followed? Did somebody capture the shooting?
They captured the robbery, not the shooting itself.
Okay, so there's two different versions of the version here in Toronto is cut and dry. You can't. There's only one version. There was a police officer who had no patience. They had the bus surrounded. I don't want to go through the whole thing. He got charged with second-degree murder, and that's still going on. That's still progressing. Have you heard any other news on? His name is Forcello. The constable's name is Forcello, right? Mm-hmm. Constable Forcello. He had been on the force for 5 years, 6 years. Am I correct?
Yep.
And he's been charged with second-degree murder. No riots. No, there was a rally, if I remember correctly.
But nothing like we're talking about. Nothing like that.
But that's what I want to try to understand this. And we've seen this. We saw this with Rodney King, and we saw it also in Miami. I think Miami had big riots, something similar. So, what is the police thinking right now in Missouri? Like, I mean, I've saw some of the way they're trying to handle this, and here's my view on this, Perry. I believe that the people who are demonstrating, the minority has their heart in the right place of what solidarity. It's not good what happened, but the majority are just people that are there to loot and throw fire bombs at the police, and I don't think the priority of those people, it's almost like what happened to the summit, the G8 summit. Was it a G8 summit? I got the right number?
Or G20, I believe.
G20 summit here in Toronto. I missed one of the numbers, where there was actually specific people that came here just to cause shit. I mean, what is the mandate? Like this guy Sharpton?
Al Sharpton.
Like, he's not doing anything to diffuse. Like, this is a terrible situation.
Okay, can I give my take on the whole thing?
Yeah.
This is about black and white, literally. This is exactly what happened with the Rodney King. It's when one individual who happens to be a member of the police uses a weapon on somebody else who happens to be black. And you've got that racial divide right then and there. This is what it's all about. This is nothing.
So when does the police, when does the police have the right people? Like, if this guy did something wrong, he should be punished, suspended, and there has to be dialogue with the community. I don't get it. Maybe I'm fucking stupid, but I do not get it. Like, the judge's got to hear both sides of the story, so I really don't know. I'm really, there's just bits and pieces in the media of what happened there. You have a young man allegedly robbed a convenience store, right? With some cigars and stuff, allegedly, and then he came out, and the allegation was that the police told him to stop, and he kept running towards the police officer after the police officer. This is what I'm reading. Mm-hmm. I was not there. I'm just regurgitating shit, right? And he shot him. And if you take a look at what it's in their manual, it's shoot to kill. Mm-hmm. And he killed him. He killed a very young man. And I don't care what color he was. He's a human being, young guy. Terrible, terrible waste of a human life. Terrible waste. So on the police side is the police officer feared for his life, drew his gun. He was being charged allegedly charged, and these are all allegations until they're proven, and the officer shot him. That's a fact.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're doing the autopsy to say where the bullets were shot, what position in the body the bullets entered, to show if it was a shot, if the police officer shot out of fear or if he shot just because he was racially motivated. Am I correct?
Mm-hmm.
What I don't understand, and I understand all of that. What I don't understand is, what is the reason of burning your city to the fucking ground? Who is that going to help?
In my opinion, it's not going to help anybody. But why is it happening? Because it's out of emotion. When emotion reaches a certain level, and when there's a racial divide, it becomes a melting pot of emotion.
But you don't spit in your own house, no matter how angry you are.
This has nothing to do with your own house.
This is
about taking the law into your own hands, becoming a vigilante, deciding you're going to go in there and loot and do it other. Because at this point, the rationale has been lost at this point. There is no rationale.
Somebody's got to go in there and rationalize with people. And if the police officer did wrong, he needs to pay.
Well, the police officer has disappeared. No one knows. Basically, they've taken this guy so far away from the situation, because it would be almost like if you showed him, there's the trophy, and basically somebody would try to do something to that guy. The police have
gone in hiding.
He's gone into hiding, likely for his own protection, because if this guy was anywhere in public, you're talking about looting. Do you think would there be the possibility if this guy was out in public, somebody would take a
Absolutely, the anger is there. Absolutely.
Okay, so there's anger. It's just basically reached the boiling point, and when you have basically sides being chosen, when you have certain leaders, you're talking about Al Sharpton, going out there and representing one particular side, because in his opinion, this is something that has happened. This is basically law anarchy, whatever you want to call it, has basically become upset.
If this shooting was racially motivated, I understand 100%, a billion percent, the emotions that are running through the demonstrators and the people that are really brokenhearted about it's 2014 and this ignorance about prejudice still exists.
And always will.
Well,
It's not
I
gonna change
I don't understand it. I think it's total ignorance of anybody to believe that another race is inferior or worse or better. I think we have in all of our clubs or our own groups or our own tribes, good people and bad people. So it's Neanderthal to think that one group of people.
We don't live in the U.S. We don't have rules that allow us to hold guns and protect ourselves under an amendment. So if you're talking about what happens here with what happened on the individual with Sam Yatine and the bus, that's nothing compared to what happens in the States.
Yeah, but
it's
take a look at that. A police officer unloaded his gun into a sitting duck. A sitting duck. Didn't have to. And then what still baffles me today is they tased them after a gun was unloaded in him. They went in with a taser, which conspiracy theory would be, we tried to tase him, he wouldn't so then we shot him. That's my conspiracy theory, right? Because I don't understand. I've watched the tape over and over, and I was quite upset over that. But but there was a demonstration in Toronto. There was very quiet, very peaceful, a la Martin Luther King, a la Gandhi, right? But not in the United States. It's treacherous right now. What's going on there? It's a war zone, and it seems to be escalating. The hate and the animosity, it seems to keep getting stronger every day. Just in the part that now, I'm reading this in social media, that the police force is becoming almost like a military. They're getting military equipment. They're using military tactics. And I still don't understand why the federal government and the President of the United States of America, Barack Obama, doesn't go in there and defuse the situation.
He did. He sent somebody in there to try and defuse the situation.
He should have went. As President of the United States of America, who is totally against racism, which he should be. You know, they proved, in my view, that the United States was not about racism when they elected a black president. Mm-hmm. Which I said to myself, wow, that's amazing, that's great, and it, you know, open-minded creates intelligence, and it creates a different window to the world. And the same here in Ontario, they elected a female premier, and you know. I don't see any difference whether you're gay or not gay. I really don't see any difference. Is she the first gay female premier in Ontario, in the history of Ontario?
That would be correct.
So I'm proud of Ontario. I'm proud of the people who voted for her. I am proud to see that people are open-minded, because that's the only way you learn. But I cannot understand why the President of the United States of America does not go down there and diffuse the situation, because it's going to get uglier and uglier and uglier.
How would he diffuse the situation?
He needs to go there and talk to the people, and they'll listen to him because they love him. And he needs to go there and diffuse the situation and speak to them.
I don't think they love him nearly as much as you think they do. His popularity rating has dropped a lot, and some of that has to do with economics.
He's still a popular president, and he's still probably one of, I'd say between Clinton and Barack Obama are two of the best speakers that I've ever seen. And John Kennedy was phenomenal. But this guy can talk. He can mesmerize a crowd. And right now they need somebody to go in there to diffuse and talk to people, not Sharpton, who goes in there and just plays the card.
Because I think it'd be very difficult for a black president to go in there, because basically, is he going to be seen as choosing one side over the other? And to me, it would be.
I don't think it's about choosing sides here.
But if you're trying,
I think it's about choosing the side of the United States of America. I think it's about taking care of your citizens, taking care of your people. It is a war zone there. It is a war zone. Like you're creating more and more animosity to the point. Like when is the maximum here? When does it crescendo? I can't see it. It looks like there's no, and there's people, from what I've read in social media, and my producers can find, there's people coming out of state to jump into this ball of hate, this ball of anger. And I've said this before, anger and hate blinds the soul, the human soul. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's all about being alive and respecting life. So, you know, racial profiling, unfortunately, has become part of the norm. In airports, in police, it is what it is, right? Mm-hmm. And it's disgusting.